Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dallas Live. I am your host, Dr. Ravi, and the number to call is 469 795 8580. That number again is area code 469 795 8580. Today we have our featured guest, Admir Serrano. He is a researcher, writer, and speaker on death, dying, and afterlife. And he has written a latest book that is The End of Death: How Near Death Experiences Prove the Afterlife. Admir, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Chandran. It's a pleasure to be here. And good afternoon to you too and to all our viewers.
Very
So,
good. Okay, so now I just checked the temperature in Miami. That's where you are right now, correct?
that's right.
And
That's where I am.
I want to tell our northeastern and eastern United States audience, and I just want to rub it in that as they are having this extreme winter weather, Admir is enjoying 74 degrees, puffy clouds, and blue sky. Now, what more can you ask for?
That's right. In sunshine.
It's
Sunshine.
sunshine. And
So this is paradise. That's why Florida is called the gateway to heaven. So we come here to experience a little bit of paradise until we leave this life and ready for the next one.
oh, you know what? Exactly. So, well, I am here in Texas. It's not too bad here, but it's the temperature is still very cold. Maybe I used to live in Florida many years ago. I was in Gainesville, a little up north.
Oh,
It's still a little
yeah.
cold up there, but
Yes.
Miami would be ideal. But I don't know whether 300 million people can move down to Miami. I don't think it'll swell up. Maybe it will. The weight of 300 people will make the entire South Florida sink into the Atlantic.
Maybe maybe that is right, but there's still room. But this is enough. We got a lot of people here, so they could also move to other places.
Okay, all right. So hey, he wants to make sure he's not overcrowded over there in Miami.
That's right.
Okay,
No, but there's room to a lot of people to come
uh,
and visit.
okay. Well, at least we can visit. Very good.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, let's Serrano. Let's go ahead and find out a little bit more about yourself. Where were you born, and how did you end up in Miami?
Yeah. I was born in Brazil, in the state of São Paulo, in a very small town, and I spent about half of my life in São Paulo, and then in Brazil, and then I came to the United States in 1982,
Okay.
and I've been here since then, and lived in different places, but most of those years here in Florida and in Miami most of the time. This is FOFA. This is FOFA, right? Well, FOFA is a Brazilian name. It's a nickname. It's like fuzzy, soft. So this is uh, our fluffy FOFA. Yeah. Well, this is obviously it's my belief, and a belief that I have had after studying and also after my out of body experiences and so forth. That in physical life, this what we're doing here is that we are experiencing a mode of living, the physical mode of living. But this is not all our lives. This is just a part of it. We pre-existed physical life, so we lived in the non-physical realm. I prefer to call it spiritual realm, but you can call non-physical realm. and then we come to earth to experience a certain period of time here on earth. Some people who stay longer, some people stay, last time, and then the physical death, when the body stops functioning, and it does when we finish our work here on earth, we go back to our natural state, which is the spiritual life, and we carry, after the death of the physical body, we will have a non-physical body, and we will continue to exist in the non-physical realm. It's like in the sequence that we are here to evolve. So we're working on both sides of life here. Um, Well, the this is, I think, knowledge, or knowledge comes in two ways. We have indirect knowledge from studying or from hearing people's story cases, and we have direct knowledge, something or whatever it is, something that you're directly involved in it. So my study, the core spiritual journey for a long time, and in the beginning it was mostly indirect knowledge, where I studied religion, where I studied scientific research on death and dying and the possibility of the afterlife. Indirect knowledge, but my direct knowledge started about 12 years ago, when I started having out of body experiences, so that I could see myself out of the physical body. I could see the physical body. So that's how I gained the direct knowledge that I can say I know that I am a spiritual being, and that this life is temporary, and that I will survive physical death.
Okay, now you know the human
You
beings.
follow me?
I follow you. Can you hear me? Hello. There may be a disconnection here.
Yes, yes. You,
Okay.
you froze a little bit, but
Okay. Now see the human beings have an incredible urge to defy death. And since most people, including myself, I plead guilty to this. Since I don't believe in afterlife, or I don't believe in reincarnations and all that stuff, so it is for me. I am in a very bad situation because since I do not have either scientific proof or the proof by the normal rules of evidence, I don't have any proof. And since I don't have any of those proofs, and nobody has even shown it to me, because remember, we have to establish the rules of evidence in your case. Now it's up to you, because you already, at the early part of this discussion, you told me that it is your belief and faith. Now when you have a belief and faith, then the rules of evidence are out the door, because there is Bible, there is God, and either you believe it or you rot in hell or burned at stake. Okay, that's the end of story. Now you cannot question it, and the Pope doesn't want you to question it, and Prophet Muhammad doesn't want you to question it. You either accept it
that's
or
right.
rot in hell. That's very clear. So it's a belief and faith is a fact that you have to accept it. Now we now go to the rules of evidence for a court of law, and that is a little bit more stringent. Okay, where you have to establish, you know, either with the preponderance of evidence for a civil case, or beyond reasonable doubt for a criminal case. And the rules of evidence, how it is collected, and the quality and quantity of evidence is all very important. Now comes the next set of rules of evidence in scientific inquiries. In scientific inquiries, eyewitness testimonials are useless, because people can come back and tell us. But for example, as a scientist, I would say the Bible, Quran, Torah, and Bhagavad Gita all are not good enough for me, because none of them are going to prove anything today. Now everything in those books, including perhaps your books, because your books based looks like upon evidence, on faith. So if I'm going to examine any of these books with a scientific questioning, then you have to have sufficient evidence. Okay, now what is sufficient evidence? Meaning, when somebody is making a claim that there is afterlife, now that claim is an extraordinary claim.
It is indeed.
It's now
It is indeed.
an extraordinary claim requires extraordinary evidence. You cannot simply say, well, I told you, so you accept it. Then we go back to faith. So if you are going to say that I have an extraordinary claim, now I'm going to provide an extraordinary evidence to support my hypothesis, then we are in the same page. And I, as a scientist, I like that kind of an inquiry. Now, extraordinary claim means here is the rules of evidence for a scientific inquiry. Let's make that clear first. Eyewitness testimony is not acceptable. Okay, hearsay or somebody writing something up, not acceptable. Now, what is acceptable is it has to be experimented in more than one scientist or one person who is going to give us the evidence. It has to be repeatable at not only at one location but various locations. It has to have either video or audio evidence or a scientific evidence that somebody else can reproduce.
Yeah,
Now,
they
now the
the
question to you.
audio. There's other types of research. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Now, only one last thing I want to make sure that we understand. Which evidence are we going to use? Are we going to use scientific evidence, or scientific based rigorous evidence, or a law based evidence, or faith? These are the three questions. Now, I leave it up to you.
Yeah, probably they work together. When we see like research, like you said, researching the afterlife or evidence for the afterlife, it's something that is quite different from you researching the effects of a drug on a disease or something that you can repeat that. It's really hard because how can you tag, for instance, a lab rat and kill this lab rat and this lab rat and tag it so, and then it dies and reincarnates, and then you can see that the soul of the rat that reincarnated is the one that they tagged in the laboratory. So that's
Well, the scientists will never.
afterlife. It's a different type of science that you can't get rats and have them come back
No, no,
with
no,
evidence. It's
no,
very
no.
difficult. It's
I
very difficult to do
totally
that.
understand. Now, I totally understand. I cannot do that type of scientific evidence. But
Yeah.
the afterlife issues that you are talking about, is it subject to? You are saying that it is not subject to scientific rules of evidence. Is that what you are saying?
Well, yeah, because this is what happens. Like in my book and the literature that I research and the cases that I interview the patients directly. Um, and they see you see cases there that science, for instance, a near-death experience. The person that goes through a near-death experience is clinically dead, that they call, and they have no heartbeat, no oxygen going to the brain, and no blood circulation. And then they have this extra and no consciousness, of course. And then when they return and they tell these extraordinary stories. For instance, what they saw in the place that they're not there previously. They heard the conversation, what they heard. So they give details of they what they saw in that area, in the physical area, that they were unconscious, and therefore scientifically or medically they couldn't be able to do that because they were unconscious. And they bring those evidence, and there's a lot of evidence in that case. I cite the case of Pam Reynolds, for instance. That's extraordinary, and she had no one of the most detailed accounts of what she saw and heard in the time that she was unconscious and under anesthesia. She had her eyes were taped shut, and she also that hear was impaired. So, and then she returns telling what she saw and what she heard. And that's something that is very difficult to explain in the situation that she was, if indeed something non-physical, some non-physical portion of her would be seeing and hearing. Do you understand?
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, well, we are already coming to our first break. 15 minutes have passed before we even knew it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Dallas Live. I am your host, Dr. Ravi. You are also listening to Admir Serrano. We are just warming up to get into this discussion here. The book that Admir has written is The End of Death: How Near Death Experiences Prove the Afterlife. Well, let's get back to that proof when we come back. And the book is available at Amazon.com and also as a Kindle version. Is that correct?
Yeah, Barnes and Noble, all major bookstores in the United States, and also online on Nook, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon.
Okay, very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. And Admir, please stay on the line.
All right, sure. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. They when they have a cardiac arrest or drowning or accident. That's right. Yeah, 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 yeah. You were right, but yeah. The lack of oxygen is a one of the arguments that the naysayers try to say. But the thing is that the near-death experience also happens to people who are unconscious by their own ventilators. So there's oxygen going to the brain, and that is a fact. And they've been through a period of in a hospital, and they are breathing through ventilators. So the brain is very well oxygenated, probably better than if they were breathing by themselves. So that one is out of the question. When the brain is flatlined, there's no mental activity. There's no the brain is not functioning properly. And if they start, after 5 or 10 minutes of flatlining, so neurons start to die. Now, for you to hallucinate or to have any kind of mental fantasies, the brain has to be working. And a brain that is not working does not hallucinate. So those arguments, and they're old arguments, especially the one or the oxygen is very old. So the new tests that they're doing show that that is not the case. No, out of body experience is an experience that a person has that is going out of the physical body for a moment. So there's the astral projection that is called out of body experience when the body is healthy, and also near-death experience. So near-death experience is also an out-of-body experience. It's an experience of being or living, experiencing life and yourself out of the physical body. And it is also temporary because that body is not going to die because it's going to be resuscitated, as we see in case. So the spirit, this person in the spirit body returns to the physical body. And also death is an out-of-body experience, but one that is just one way. You go, but you don't come back. No, no. Yeah, some match. Yeah, they're not identical, but there's some common features. For instance, the person in both cases during out of body experience in the healthy state, both cases they experience leaving the physical body. Then they experience their existence even for a moment outside of the physical body and can see the physical body that lay in bed or whatever, and also the physical environment. Those are common features in both cases. And then, yeah, but the near death experience is more profound because there is a account, extraordinary account by the experiencers of experienced life in the spirit world when they meet dead relatives and things like that. Mhm. They see both. They see relatives that they knew in life, and also they see other beings that they understand that are living a non-physical life, and then they're there for some reason. Now, there's something interesting about both near-death experience. I see your smile. Like, I like your. It is. It is. Now, that, that's great. I know you're not. Now, one thing that is fascinating about this case, for instance, near-death experience, when they say that they see someone, like a spirit of someone, they only see people who are dead. They don't see, for instance, the apparition of someone who is living. It's always the apparition of someone who they know that is dead. And there's another thing is the tunnel that they go through the light. They see this light, they go through the tunnel and they're traveling fast. and then they end up in a place that they call a spiritual place, and they see it, they understand it as being a spiritual place where spiritual beings are. Now they never say that at the end of the tunnel they ended up, let's say, in New Jersey, for instance, or here in Miami, South Beach, if they lived a good life. They always end up in a non-physical realm, never physical. When you go up to where? Oh, they try like the pilots, that the test they did with the pilots. Yeah, no, it's different. Well, the thing is that it is possible, like the pilot test that they do, is that during like the process, because of the speed and all that, there is some kind of altered state of consciousness that they can see. For instance, for some reason, they can experience maybe a life like out of the body. But there's something that we need to make a distinction in out of body experience, because we know, like the naysayers, they call autoscopy or they call other things. Now, near death, both near death experience and out of body experiences, to be considered near death experience, out of body experience, is the person experiences consciousness, experience their thinking abilities out of the physical body. That's what's different. For instance, in near death experience or in my own out of body experience, when I'm out of the body, I know that this thinking portion of me, the seeing portion of me, and the hearing portion of me is disconnected from the physical portion of me. That is an out of body experience or near death experience. Or in the past, it started mostly about 12 years ago, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes in like once or twice, and sometimes it's more profound and it's sometimes less profound. And also, it's mostly at night when I am relaxing. So there is if all parts of night, because I studied and we trained in out of body experience. You can train, you you can train to experience out of body experience. So there's certain times, especially in certain times of the night, that is we are more prone of experience out of body experience because the body is more relaxed, so it's easier to project yourself out of the physical body. That, yeah, not not in that book, not in the end of that. I wrote another one that is out already for the past 2 weeks, because I started talking to people and they started asking me, so how do I experience this? So I wrote, it's called Out and About, How to Have Conscious Out of Body Experiences. In my website, admirserrano.com, you can find it, and also on Amazon. Yes, it is in both printed and also ebook. That's why it's there waiting for you to do some training. I have a wonderful experience that you're gonna love it. Oh yes, and you're gonna do it, and then you're gonna tell me how that changed your thinking. That's right. Those the two books are in English. I have other three books that I wrote in my native language, Portuguese, because I started writing Portuguese first. No, it is in the website, admirserrano.com. It is there, yeah. It's like on the corner there, but it's on Amazon for sure. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure. Pleasure. Yeah. Well, actually, I cannot teach. What I can do is I offer suggestions how I learn to do it. So that's what we do, because the teaching it depends on the person. So what I do is that I give suggestions and exercises on how the person can experience, because this is This is the thing. We, at night, when the body sleeps, we leave the physical body. But not all of us are conscious of being out of the physical body at a certain period at night or at all. So the exercises that I'm giving is just how to wake up consciousness to know how, to become conscious when that is happening. So I give the suggestions and also some exercise, physical exercises that is, I had no problem in achieving it. And that is something that we exercise during our training. And that is something that's very interesting. And it's a radical way of, there's the softest, the easiest way of doing it. But there's one that is a little bit more rough, but it's very interesting, and it's the chances of success is great, and it's listed in the book. Yeah, that'll be giving it too much. So let's let's say that's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Yes. Hmm. Yeah, but they're not conscious because for us, like in near for us as a spirit in a spirit body or as non-physical consciousness, we are sort of enmeshed in the physical body, so we're very attached. And but when we relax and the physical organs relax, such as in the case of near death experience, that is a more drastic way of getting the physical organs in the physical body out of the way of our spiritual being. So the more relaxed the body is, the easier it is for us to leave the physical body. So it's harder to know during when we're sleeping because the body is very healthy. And that near death experience becomes easier because many of the organs shut down, at least temporarily, because the heart stops beating, respiration stops, and brain activity stops. So it's easier to get out of the body during a near death experience. It becomes much easier when the physical body dies for good. Then there's all the apparatus is dead. It's then we as a spirit we leave it just in a blink of an eye or faster. What is the could you what's the oh, the benefit? Well, the benefit, for instance, in my case, the out of body experience, in my case, the benefit that I had was that I had this certainty that I have a non-physical body that survives death. That is for me very important. Now, in near-death experiences, I think the most, and that is almost 90% of the people who go through a near-death experience, is that the way that their lives change for the better when they're back. For instance, they do this life review, one of the features, and they can see like in a brief moment everything that they've been doing in their lives since they were born, mostly bad things, things that they shouldn't be doing. So then they have this realization that they are in the wrong path. So then they come and they change. One thing, for instance, is also a desire to acquire knowledge. So there are many, many cases of they return, they go back to school. They either finish high school or finish college and all that. So there is this enhanced desire and appreciation for life and for everything. There's also this, they become less materialistic. they become more altruistic. So, and the thing, the change is so drastic and so positive that one of the major researchers today is Sam Parmia. He's from England, and he's specialized in heart, and also, and he's doing a fascinating job. And he thinks that the change for the better is so drastic that they should invent some, and it's in the book, and I have it in my book, and I give it even where he wrote that they should invent some kind of pill, some kind of medication that would give the person a experience like a near death experience so that they could treat for instance depression and some other problem that people have. That's interesting, right? That's interesting. I didn't know. But you're here. How can you not believe if you're back in a physical life? Well, in a way we do, but maybe in some way they are. No, no, it's a different type of phenomenon. These two, what they say, what we learn from it is that the existence of a non-physical body within our physical body, and the continuation of life after death. That's what it shows. It does not, or it implies, if you're in a scientific, because scientifically you can't say it is. Like I'm making a big claim that they prove, but scientifically they seems to, right, implies, or but it does not. Now, but there are other studies of reincarnation, and the University of Virginia is doing an outstanding job, and started by Dr. Ian Stevenson, and for over 40 years, and he died in 2007. Now Dr. James Tucker is continuing his studies of children who have a spontaneous remembrance of past lives, and claims research, and they verify the information that they give, that there's no other way they could know unless they factor in the possibility of that person being indeed the previous personality that they claim to have been.
Well, I haven't studied that yet, so I need to take a look at that portion of what they are climbing over there. But you believe that the out of body experience or the near death experience is distinctly different from reincarnation. So, do you believe in reincarnation?
Of course I do. I'm here. So how can I if
Well,
I'm
if you
back
are
in physical
here,
life?
but you were not there before and you are not afterwards, because how do
I
you?
was there. I was there before. I'll be there afterwards.
That's like
And
claiming
it's
God exists. I mean, there is the same phenomenon.
yeah, now they don't support, because for you, like in that case, out of body experience, for instance, or near death experience, uh, what it is happening at that moment, it has nothing to do, like during out of body experiences, it is possible that we can access some kind of memory that we had from a past life, but to support it, it doesn't support reincarnation, because there's no way that to support. It's a different phenomenon that supports other things, other evidence, but not reincarnation.
Well, it's parapsychology and what Dr. Brian Weiss talks about from previous incarnations and perhaps the future, and he is combining all those various reincarnation. There is a huge support for the work he has done. Of course, I'm looking at with a skeptic's lens,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
therefore, to me, the audience have to make a decision, how they
Yes, sir.
want to look at it. But you got a great book. The two books are out and about. The latest one. The other one is The End of Death: How Near-Death Experiences Prove the Afterlife by Admir Serrano. Both books are available at Amazon.com and also wherever books are sold, including as a Kindle version and Barnes and Noble and various other bookstores. Admir, we have to take a quick break here. We will be right back in about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to ask rapid fire questions, and I want either yes or no answers or one line or two line answers. How is that?
All right.
Okay,
That
because we
sounds
got
good. Sounds good.
we got a lot more to cover, so we will come back and reanalyze this in the next session. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Dallas Live. I am your host, Dr. Ravi, and the number to call is 469 795 8580. 469 795 8580. We will be right back. Admir, please stay on the line.
My pleasure. Fofa. Thank you. No, we don't. We switch genders. No, because evolution is progressive. So we can reincarnate better, but we cannot reincarnate lower. So a very intelligent donkey, if that is possible, could maybe in a life be become a human, at least for a portion of time, but then cannot go back because its evolution, like I said, is progressive. We always get better. No, we everybody has the free will and the energy to progress, and it's up to each one of us to make the effort to get better. The chances are equal to everyone. Yes, it could. No, no, it's not because it's different. It's something that we are prone, but for some reason, even light or the what we mode is like, especially like birth defects, congenital defects, and like I said, University of Virginia has done a wonderful job in studying such cases. No, they're not like hell the way we found it. It was a mistranslation in the Latin translation of the Bible that they translated one place and they put it fire as fire or infernos instead of the certain place. But they're both states of consciousness. Is the way we feel in a certain time or during a certain time of our lives, and it could be a heavenly place when we are very happy, or hellish when we are unhappy or when we are having problems and stuff. Both states of consciousness, states of mind. You got it. And yeah. Even Austria, you can experience in Austria that was elected the best place for a human being to live last year. But you can live miserable there if you're miserable with yourself. Yeah, well, I think we're both. Yeah, I can hear you now. I didn't hear you before. That's right. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's an energetic connection that connects the physical and the non-physical body, while while there is life in there's organic life in the physical body. When it stays there during out of body experiences and during near death experience, but it's going to be cut, it's going to be broken when the body dies for good. Yeah, physically, the body is dead, or at least closest to death as possible, and that's physical. The physical body is shut down, and spiritually, then the spiritual portion of the person, the energy or the spirit, gets out of the physical body and experiences independent life, a life independently from the physical body, but always with the same power of consciousness and cognitive abilities, everything independently of the physical body. Oh, say if it is possible. Well, if you finish learning what you had to learn here on Earth, then you might not you might not come back if you don't want. But there's one time that possibly you're going to be to attain a certain level of knowledge and of wisdom and stuff, that when you see the suffering that goes on here on earth, maybe you choose to reincarnate in a mission to help humanity get better or progress, like Jesus Christ, Buddha, and Krishna. I don't know if Krishna was lived a physical life or whatever, but all those beings to make us or whoever is here lagging behind to give a leap forward in order to progress better. You're gonna be tired of seeing people suffering, and you're gonna be sad, so you decide to come in a mission. That's right. Oh, while we have things to learn, then well, we're not because we want to come and get and become better. We will have our desire to progress. And physical life is the boot soul, but the boot camp for the soul. So we come here. It's hard, There's suffering, physical suffering, but it's good for us as spiritual beings. That's that's right. That's the idea. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly like Gandhi or Mandela. Then they choose to come as in a mission. So they come like to save, like what Gandhi did to India. So he needs to be ready, spiritually and intellectually, in a position that they can do such a great jobs that like they did. And to do that, they had to pass to many stages of life until they acquired enough level of wisdom that they could come and make such a huge difference. Yeah, well, that's right. Well, but we all have our little missions, right? But our little missions is to be the lifesavers of the people who we are connected with, our loved ones, our children. So those are, our family, our small family, just people that we make a direct impact. They become our nations, like India to Gandhi, and we have less people and we have more time and more better condition to shape those souls that we are responsible for so that they become greater soul Mahatmas in the future. And we will do the same as we do the job that we came here to do. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we are our essence is spiritual, non-physical, and the earth is physical. The earth and just like our physical body is a like condensed energy. So we will continue living even if we like we do like when we die, when the body dies and we leave the physical life. The non-physical life in the spirit life, we are living in a non-physical world, and it doesn't matter if Earth exists or not, and because it's non-physical, so it can will continue living in the whole uh, um, non-physical beings will continue living like just like they're living now. But how? How is it? How is it? We have a hundred. We have a hundred billion stars in our galaxy, and all suns, and they're all planets around them. Then we have another 100 billion galaxies with 100 billion stars. Can you imagine that? If they can put almost 2 billion people in China, we we can put, and they occupy space. In China's mostly mountainous. Imagine this non-physical world, non-physical beings in a place so huge as this universe. And scientists even think that this is just one universe of many. So there's enough room for a lot of souls, Dr. Chandra. Thank you. it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to be here. Yeah. All right. Thank you.